In this video, I will be discussing early specialisation in sport, defining it, providing examples and reviewing the argument for early specialisation and the argument against it, concluding with my own opinions. To understand and define early specialisation, we first need to define specialisation itself. A quote from the paper Sports Health, a multidisciplinary approach, states that sports specialisation is defined as intense, year-round training in a single sport, at the exclusion of other sports. Variations on this general theme exist, with disagreement on what volume of training constitutes intense, and whether year-round participation of exclusion of all other sports is essential for classifying an athlete as specialised. Some advocate that a minimum volume of training is required to meet the definition, while others define specialisation as simply limiting participation to a single sport on a year-round basis, regardless of training volume. Well, early specialisation is when someone/a child specialises in a specific sport. It is when someone starts to specialise in a particular sport from an early age. There are many arguments as to whether or not this is a positive or negative thing, and there are valid points of both arguments in which I will get to later on in the video. Wayne Rooney and Serena Williams are two examples of very successful professional athletes playing at the top level who specialise very early on in their respective sports. Rooney spent his childhood playing football and joined his boyhood club Everton at just age 9, and worked his way through the academy to eventually break into the first team when he was just 16. Serena Williams started playing tennis at just age 3, and was homeschooled with her older sister Venus, who is also a world-class professional tennis player. They were both coached by their mother and father, so she has spent her whole life focused solely on tennis since the age of just 3 years old. This is a more extreme case of early specialisation. Here is a list of positive and negative points from Ericsson for early specialisation and a list for early diversification from Coates. Early diversification is essentially the opposite of early specialisation, as it is playing a range of different sports from an early age. The points Ericsson made for early specialisation are: it takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to achieve expertise, there is a strong correlation between performance level and training hours, and there is evidence of higher attrition and negative health outcomes. The points Coates made in his list for early diversification are: there is more diverse range of skills developed through a variety of sports, it promotes development of intrinsic motivation and increased self-involvement, there is also talent transfer across sports, cognitive and physical, and there is evidence from tennis at the age of 15, but still compile enough hours. From this list, in terms of positives, it edges slightly towards diversification, or early diversification, so to speak. In a post by Delange, she includes a factorial list of evidence of 9 reasons against early specialisation. It goes on to say that the majority of studies suggest that early specialisation can have significant negative consequences on the development of an athlete over time. Far from being supported by hard scientific evidence about youth talent development, the trend towards early specialisation in playing on travel or select teams at an early age, before grade 6, is a bad idea because it 1. Interferes with healthy child development, 2. Comes with a psychological risk from stress associated with over-involvement and expectations of parents and significant others, 3. Doesn't guarantee future athletic success, 4. Hurts rather than helps skill development, 5. Is elitist, 6. Leads to overuse injuries, 7. Promotes adult values and interests, not those of children, 8. Increases the chances that the child will suffer burnout and quit sports, and finally 9. Reduces the chance that children will stay active in sports as adults. To conclude, my opinions on early specialisation are: while there is no doubt it has produced world-class athletes such as Serena Williams and Wayne Rooney, overall it is too risky to a child's health. To practice a specific sport at such a high intensity from a very young age is proven to have health complications in the long term, and as a child your body is still developing. To work the body that hard at an early age isn't natural, and that person can pay the price as a result in the future. I believe the body needs more time to mature and develop before training to such a high intensity. I also believe the child should get more of a choice instead of parents pushing them into a sport at an early age. Though this is just my opinion, a lot of people seem to agree. Though in fairness, a lot of people also agree to support early specialisation.